Hey, it's John F. Gately. Welcome back to the show. And TikTok and China are the number one topics in Washington today with this big TikTok hearing, and they're considering basically banning TikTok in the United States. Now, I think this whole thing is a little bit overblown. There are multiple angles that China is preparing and causing a threat to the United States. Of course, we know that. TikTok, I guess, maybe be one of them, maybe, but I don't think it's the most important one. And there are at least two others that we're going to talk about in this video, which I think are more pressing. And if we had taken some of our TikTok attention and put it on these other two issues, I think we'd be better off. But that's not how politics works. And I think there could be just a little bit of politics in this whole TikTok thing. But there also might be some substance. This is the money quote. Let's see if we can bring it up for you today. So far today in the hearings, this is the money quote. Rep. Dunn has ByteDance, which is the parent company of TikTok, spied on American citizens. TikTok CEO. I don't think spying is the right way to describe it. Oh, man, what a bad way to answer that question. Let's see. Go ahead, listen.
And they were going to follow individual American citizens. I ask you again, Mr. Chu, has ByteDance spied on American citizens?
I don't think the spying is the right way to describe it.
Right.
This is ultimately...
We can differ on that.
This is ultimately an internal investigation.
Any TikTok or ByteDance data that is viewed, stored, or passes through China is subject to the laws of China. One-party authoritarian state hostile. And they were going to follow...
Good job, Congressman Dunn. An awful answer from the TikTok CEO. I don't think spying is the way we should describe it. So maybe we should describe it as listening without your knowledge or permission. Yeah. Really, really bad answer by the Tik. Did not help himself at all with that answer. But again, I think this whole TikTok thing is a little overblown. I don't think we should be a country that bans apps on your phone. I'm just going to say that again. I don't think we should be a country that bans apps on your phone. And if you want to use an app from whatever country, I think freedom is the better route. That's just kind of my point of view. I don't think we want to be the type of country that bans apps from your phone. There's another video that's going along today and yesterday, and I think this is a much more important problem relative to China, and that is what's going on the border. Of course, Democrats don't want to talk about that at all. They recently just, how do I want to say this, totally skipped a hearing down on the border. They signed up for the border hearing. They were all scheduled to go. They had a witness to go, and then at the last minute they backed out. But China is making a big scene on the border. In other words, Chinese people are migrating to the United States illegally through our southern border. Now, this is a video that Griff Jenkins posted. Let's see if we post this up here for you. I don't think there's a lot of audio, but it's military-age men in their 20s and 30s getting off a bus. They're Chinese nationals getting off a bus. You can see them right there. No women, no children. This woman just walking by on the sidewalk. Some reason, no women, no children. They're coming into the United States. They're being released to NGO, which may or may not have Chinese ties. Who the hell knows? And they're getting notice to appear. So basically, it's tag and release. It's catch and release down in Brownsville. And who are those men? I mean, really, no, we don't know. We have no idea. Could some of them be agents of the Chinese government? Yeah, absolutely. Could most of them be? That's also possible. Why would China let these relatively young men out of their country? It's my preconception. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's my preconception that if you want to leave China, especially if you're a 25, 35-year-old man, you better have a really good reason where you're going. I think they have to get like an exit visa to leave the country. And effectively, from what I understand, most of them are flying to Middle East countries like Ecuador or someplace like that, and then they're walking just like everybody else. Why? Why? I mean, I know if I lived in China, I'd want to get out too. I get that, and I'm sure that some of them are legitimate, real legitimate asylum seekers, not economic immigrants like most people from South America are economic immigrants. But I believe there are some legitimate asylum seekers with these Chinese, but most of them look like they're single young men, military-age men. That is very concerning, very, very concerning to me. Maybe it should be concerning to the congressmen in Washington, D.C., but I don't think that makes as much of a glorious hearing as talking about TikTok, right? You know, to bring but all the TikTok influencers, by the way, are in Washington, D.C. trying to save their app because, you know, they've got 3 million followers on TikTok. And if TikTok gets canceled, then, you know, what are they going to do? Over the weekend, Sunday night, CBS 60 Minutes became a news show again. And it was Norah O'Donnell. I can't believe I'm saying good things about CBS, but Norah O'Donnell had this 27-minute report. I was astonished. I kind of just had 60 Minutes on. That came on after the basketball game or something. I don't know. And it was about the U.S. Navy. And I was starting to watch it. Really compelling. I was like looking up and I'm watching it. And incredibly compelling. State of the U.S. Navy as China builds up its naval force and threatens Taiwan. The State of the Navy report, a 27-minute report. I didn't think 60 Minutes, I haven't watched 60 Minutes for a really long time. So I thought 60 Minutes episodes were like 12, 15 minutes or something like that. But this was a 2-part report. Maybe that's how they do it now since I haven't watched it in such a long time. This is a 2-part report about the state of the U.S. Navy. And basically, if I have these numbers right, we've got like 300 ships and 100 of them are in port being maintained on any given day at the least. So effectively, we have much less than 300 ships. And the Chinese now have a much, much bigger Navy. And we have this range problem where in order to defend Taiwan, we have to be closer to Taiwan from a naval ship point of view. But unfortunately, the Chinese missiles can reach us from the Chinese mainland and can shoot our ships, even because we have to be, you know, see what I'm saying? We have a problem, a strategic problem there. Very, very scary. This is what we should be having a much more hearing about today, right? The Navy situation is dire. The admiral that was interviewed, I believe he said, we used to depend upon 30 shipyards in the United States. We're now down to 7 shipyards. We used to have one here in Massachusetts at the Four River Shipyard. It's a giant shipyard during the Second World War, closed. And you know what they do at the Four River Shipyard? It's now a staging facility for new cars. It's just filled with new cars, some of which I'm sure are built in China. You know, they come off the big ship. Yeah, they just sit there. There are lots of cars there, but I'm sure some of them are, I don't know. But a tremendous loss, you know, because once you lose that type of shipbuilding, it's very difficult to get back. By the way, the crane that was at the Four River Shipyard at one point, I think, was the second largest shipyard crane in the world. And when the shipyard closed, they packed it up and shipped it to China. Yeah, can't make this stuff up. So there are a lot of threats out there. TikTok, one of them? Yeah, maybe. Over the border? Absolutely. Navy? Absolutely concerning. Extremely concerning. So we have to kind of start to set some priorities. I don't think TikTok is the number one priority when it comes to China. But today, it's sucking up all of the attention. Maybe we should get our priorities straight. Hey, I'm John F. Gately from America's hometown, Plymouth, Massachusetts. Behind enemy lines. Whew. It sure is. Have a great day. Bye-bye.